Hello, everyone. My name is Lesya, and I've been passionate about chocolate and confectionery for almost 20 years. I'm an innovation category lead for chocolate and confectionery category at OFI. OFI stands for Olam Food Ingredients. Olam Food Ingredients is a global leader in naturally good food and beverages solution. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to take you through the global plant-based confectionery market trends. We will explore together some challenges you might be facing while developing your plant-based confectionery application. And I will be also sharing our solutions, how you can overcome some of those and win in this fast-growing space. So let's start with the trends. Why understanding consumer and market trends is so important? Some of the most successful manufacturers succeed with their new product launches because they have this amazing ability to understand what consumer is going to buy in short, medium, and long term. And they react upon it. And they react fast. So at OFI, we understand how important understanding market trends to our customers. That's why we gather our insights from different sources of intelligence, and we translate this into innovative concepts. On this slide, I'm going to share with you 5 key trends we identified last year in order to develop our plant-based chocolate and confectionery concepts, which became a big success. So what are those 5? Those gifting and special occasions, growing appetite for sweet spreads, nut ingredients and flavors, choice and personalization, and functional ingredients and health consciousness. We focused on 2 of them to build our plant-based concept. So now let's see how the plant-based confectionery market has been evolving in the past years. On this chart, you see market growth starting from 2017 globally. As you notice, 2017, 2018, there is very insignificant growth, but this trend shifted in 2019, and by 2022, the number of launches is twice as high as was in 2018, with an average calculated growth rate is almost 18%, which is quite impressive. This slide includes data of number of launches in various plant-based subcategories identified by Innova. In 2017, you see around 1,000 new product launches with vegan claims all over the globe. They are mainly represented by chocolate blocks, but you see also other categories, which is quite interesting, like lollipop, which you wouldn't expect at all to contain dairy. Maybe some of them are mints or hard candies, but they also had a vegan claim. 2018, 19, 20, 22, we see significant growth, twice as high. A regional overview on the same data. Total number of plant-based confectionery product launches per region. Absolutely dominating and leading West Europe, followed by North America. But it's also interesting to see that number of launches is increasing also in other regions, such as Latin America, even Africa, Middle East. Well, the vegan confectionery market is no longer only dominated by small startups. The big multinationals have now released their own plant-based versions of existing much-loved brands. On this chart, you see such big manufacturers as Haribo, Mondelez, Lindt, Nestle, Mars. They all came up with a vegan version. Looking at those figures, one can assume that modern consumer is already expecting to find vegan alternatives of their favorite brands. And manufacturers are trying to achieve those expectations. Let's look at some of those market examples. Let's look at the first 4. If you look attentively, what is common in those 4 products? None of them is using word chocolate. You are not allowed to call those plant-based versions of chocolate chocolate. You are not allowed to put it on the label. Look at the first one, how creative manufacturers are coming with giving names to their product. So first one, vegan milk-like, and not just milk-like. In the milk, letter I is replaced with exclamation mark. Similar in the second one, also they say plant-flavored. Third one, from first look, it looks like chocolate, but it's not. English letter H is replaced with a Cyrillic alphabet letter. Cadbury came creative. They call it plant bar, but they put it in the regular tablet format and also using green color. Other manufacturers, they just choose to use green color for their packaging and putting vegan claim a really big positioned on the front pack. Green color indeed helps consumer to identify your product with a plant-based. So clearly there is a huge opportunity for manufacturers to create a plant-based product that consumers obviously want, but there are significant challenges to overcome. What do you think those challenges are? You probably guessed correctly. Those challenges are taste and texture. If we talk particularly about plant-based chocolate confectionery, taste and texture are absolutely critical. How can you overcome this problem, this issue? Choosing the right plant protein. But let's start back to the research. Our research revealed that we are not alone in expecting a good taste and texture. 22% of consumers do not believe that plant-based product can taste as well as a classic real thing. And even those who are currently buying plant-based versions, they say they would stop buying for bad taste and texture. If you ever bought a plant-based version of chocolate from the market, you probably noticed that it doesn't taste that well, and chocolate may not melt well in your mouth. You may perceive some waxiness. And who wants to eat chocolate which doesn't melt in your mouth? Me neither. So those products might contain such ingredients as rice powder, rice syrup, oat powder, soy protein, which really has significant impact on sensory and also can give off taste. Pea protein absolutely associated with the off taste in your product. That's why today I will talk about nut protein powders. So why nut protein powders? Firstly, they solve multiple challenges simultaneously. They taste delicious, but they are also healthier and rich in nutrients, which is modern consumer is looking for. They can positively impact your Nutri-Score, but they are also grain-free and gluten-free for your product claims. Talking about sensory, in our innovation lab, we tested different nut protein powders and identified that each of them creates a unique sensory experience to your plant-based chocolate confectionery. As per our sensory panel opinion, they discovered that almond protein powder actually helps to create the closest sensory profile to the classic milk chocolate. But also cashew protein powder comes really close, and even it gives you perception of sweetness, which is really nice because this nice sweet taste gives you a space to reduce a sugar content in your application while still having overall nice sweet profile. If you would like to really go further and identify and make something really distinctive and differentiate your product in the market, you may want to consider pistachio or walnut protein powder or macadamia protein powder. But then you have to be ready to really go further and to not come close to that close to the regular milk chocolate. Now you know that you want to use your nut protein in your plant-based version of chocolate confectionery. But what are the next steps? What else is really important? Absolutely critical second key factor is understanding impact of cocoa liquors and cocoa butter in creating plant-based chocolate confectionery application. Let's take cocoa liquor. Cocoa liquor is one of the most important ingredients in milk and dark classic chocolates. It greatly impacts the overall sensory in your finished product. So selecting the right one will also help you to create and differentiate in your plant-based versions of chocolate confectionery. For more unique sensory profile, you may want to consider single origin cocoa liquors from cocoa beans from Ghana, Ivory Coast, Ecuador, or just use a tailored, specially developed solutions for confectionery from, for example, West Africa beans. If you are developing a plant-based version of white chocolate, it's especially important to use the right cocoa butter. You may want to consider to use fully deodorized or partly deodorized cocoa butter, which has more raw taste and different sensory, different flavor, but also even different color. If you would like to use natural colorants and have colorful coating, plant-based coating or tablet, you may want to consider using extra white cocoa butter, additionally bleached, and then you will not, then your final product color will not change that much as if you apply it on the regular cocoa butter. For your filled cocoa-based, plant-based chocolate confectionery, for example, shell-molded ones, also choosing the right cocoa powder is important, as there is a wide range from natural to dark to bitter and so on. Organic versions also can play a big role. At OFI, we have organic cocoa butter and cocoa powder to support your organic claims. So now you know that you may want to use nut protein powder, but also which cocoa liquor or cocoa butter you would like to use and how important it is. So how to create the winning recipe. As I mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, it's very important to consider and to start from consumer and market insights and benchmark. At OFI, we go to fairs, exhibitions, we go to supermarkets, we look at the shelves, we buy product, we taste, we analyze, we discuss, we take an idea, and then we move further. It's very important, absolutely crucial to use quality ingredients. From quality raw materials, you come to the quality of final product, which is stable during the shelf life. Next step is technical expertise. And when I say technical expertise, I mean expertise in both, in ingredients, in understanding ingredients functionality, to application part, to the final product. At OFI, we constantly test our cocoa and nuts ingredients to really understand well their functionality and how they would impact a final product of our customers. Processing capabilities. Once you come up with your recipe, you want to test it on the equipment, which is as maximum as possible come close to the real manufacturing equipment when you will be scaling up. Using the right conch is very important. Using the right particle size is important. The right process parameters is absolutely critical. You tested your product. It tastes good. It has nice gloss, nice snap. But this is not enough. You need to think really further. What is important for the manufacturer? What is important for you, for our customer? We know what is important because we have experience in manufacturing as well. So, tempering. Impact of new ingredients on tempering. Impact of new ingredients on cooling time, performance, impact on contraction, impact on demolding, all those factors, all this what we consider when we develop our application. Shelf life. You want your product to be stable during the shelf life. So for that, we develop our internal shelf life test procedures. One, of course, regular one, when you just take a product which you developed and put it on the shelf for 6 to 12 months, and then you monitor every month or every 2 months to see if there is any change. But of course, it's not really, no one has a luxury to wait 12 months. And for that, we have accelerated shelf life tests when we try to mimic and use a different temperature, humidity, and storage condition. So we can reduce these tests, and where 1 week could come, for example, for 1 month of the regular shelf life test. And of course, constant learning. Looking what is happening new in the market, new equipment, new processing, what can be improved, curiosity, and analytical mindset. To sum up, crafting the perfect plant-based chocolate can be really challenging, but pairing the right nut protein powder with the right cocoa ingredients, you're setting yourself up to win on both taste and texture. At OFI, we got creative ideas about other concepts. Please get in touch with us to find out more. Thank you very much.